Welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are having a great evening. Um, Zen Crypto, has it broken Bitcoin, right? And are we just scapegoating Zen Crypto, right? So what's happened? Well, I think most know at this point in time that Bitcoin withdrawals were freezed over at Binance, and the chain it's just basically clogged up with unconfirmed transactions. Now, where does Zen come into this, and what's happening with the Bitcoin community, and what's the reaction to this? So, to understand, uh, we have the Bitcoin maximalists uh, who never felt that Bitcoin should have uh, any real development on it, right? They kind of look at Bitcoin as just a store of value. Bitcoin is old technology, it's dinosaur technology. My opinion, I think Bitcoin is crap. That's just me personally. And I feel like that's how come I helped to found projects like Bitcoin MYK. Because as I had mentioned earlier, anytime there is whether it be a Bitcoin fork or some improvement of it, that is a way of the community saying that Bitcoin is not sufficient, right? Anytime you you build something in that way, you're saying that you can do better. And that's just how it works, right? And generally, the idea is we get better products when that happens. The reason that we wanted to build a better Bitcoin is, for one, Bitcoin has about 1% of the Bitcoin network owns 87% of the entire network. So, despite what Bitcoin maximalists might say, what crypto experts might say, Bitcoin is centralized, right? Because it doesn't fulfill, uh, by any means, by any measurement, the decentralization categories of what makes something decentralized, right? You cannot say something is decentralized if the wealth itself is centralized, right? And that's basically what you have with that. Now, what's happened is basically Bitcoin has become like Ethereum, right? Bitcoin is no longer just a store of value. It's NFTs on there. It's these tokens, these meme coins are now being printed on Bitcoin that are basically coming across like just direct spam. So here's the problem, right? And I know the Zen community might take this video the wrong way. I'm a big believer in Zen's direction still, but you would know if you watch the content and understand what I'm saying is I'm totally against Zen being on Ethereum. I'm totally against Zen being on Bitcoin, right? Uh, Now, it's a very bittersweet kind of situation in that I like the fact that a case can be made for Bitcoin outside of it just being the first cryptocurrency with the first network, biggest network effect, right? But NFTs and meme coins, I'm totally against them. I know how it works, guys. I know many of you come into cryptocurrency, and as long as a project's making you money, you're fine with it. You want to just see profits. Nothing wrong with that. I don't begrudge you that. But what I am saying is this, that most meme coins are going to lose 90% of their value, go to zero. They're going to come down, and oftentimes they come down great, or there's no profit potential left, meaning that many people buy buy most of these meme coins at the top, and most people lose, right? It's only a handful who really get those gains, like with Pepe Coin, right? Like with Shiba Inu and many of these other meme coins, right, that have come out and been these so-called have become these big market cap of coins. The problem is uh, once you miss that ride up, right, like most people will, these coins, the opportunity is going to become utterly useless, and you can't use them for anything, right, for the most part. Um, and that's a big problem, and it just happens over and over again, right? So these meme coins basically uh, typically are just making these platforms worse, right? It's making Ethereum worse because it's making it unusable. Now it's making Bitcoin worse. And unfortunately, Zen Crypto released something on it called Ordinals, right? Which has been great for Bitcoin miners. They get to make more money. But remember, mining itself is centralized now, right? There was a time, as many of us know, everybody can mine Bitcoin. We know those days are long gone now. And so mining is a very centralized category, right? Bitcoin MYK, the project we found, does it better because Bitcoin MYK basically states that through a social media like interface, anybody can mine and earn Bitcoin MYK. The anagram MYK stands for making your crypto with knowledge, right? And so it drives us back to a more better situation earlier time in Bitcoin's history, thus the fork of Bitcoin. And speaking of forks, right, just to get our Bitcoin NYK a little bit to make this point, that is what's becoming the big problem with the Bitcoin network is that the Bitcoin maximalists, these developers, are able to basically fork Bitcoin now, right? Which it seems more likely they're going to do. Now, some of you all who weren't here prior to 2018 and so on, back in 2017, we're familiar with the biggest Bitcoin fork, Bitcoin Cash, right? Where all this happened, right? It is presumable that this is going to happen again because of these ordinals, NFTs on Bitcoin, all these meme coins, right, that are probably going to be gone to zero, a lot of them over the next several months, uh, are just clogging up the networks, right? Making these platforms unusable. That is not a good thing. These are not good use cases, right? Again, when we talk about Bitcoin MYK, Bitcoin MYK is a great deal more valuable than it was when it first started, right? So we can see it going into millions of dollars, billions of dollars, right? Forks Bitcoin basically to other chains and basically is saying that this is a more participatory Bitcoin, right? Also, we know Bitcoin doesn't do the citizens dividend, doesn't do universal basic income, a big social, economic, political issue that is necessary for our economy today. And with the rise of automation will definitely more likely be something that will happen. This will be how society works, right? And these are pretty much givens, right? This isn't like Pepe, a meme coin. This isn't like Zen. As much as I like Zen, it's not like Zen. It's not like Hex. This goes into categories of what we have to do, what we will do, right? It's not a matter of if, but when, right? And so that's all very important to understand, right? The value is a great deal more than it started. That lets us know that this is what's going to be. But now, Zen, and let me just be clear here what we're saying here, right? Zen is a great project, but Zen should have first started on Matic, right? And I think now the Zen ecosystem is starting to understand to start these projects on these protocols, these chains that can more equipped and more efficient with them. You know, like the point I was just making about Bitcoin versus Bitcoin MYK. That's gonna fork again, right? I have no doubt in my mind these ordinals and these NFTs on Bitcoin, they're gonna keep popping up. They're gonna keep straining the Bitcoin ecosystem, right? Transactional fees as such, and it's going to make it unusable, right? It's going to make people want to fork it. That's the reason Bitcoin forked in the beginning. This is why everybody's trying to get off Ethereum. So what we're saying, guys, is these aren't solutions, right? These just feed the appetites of decentralization that exists on Bitcoin and Ethereum, like it's always done, which wasn't a solution in the first place, which is why we move on to these other chains and have to create these other chains, right? And these are just no brainers, guys. This is how it is. It's no way of denying this. Now, um, so as the Zen ecosystem moves into these other platforms, these other blockchains, and to the point of just building their own, right? That's healthy. That's a good thing, right? But I don't really see where it was a point to put these on Bitcoin or Ethereum at all, right? When we were basically anti that, I think, from the beginning. Only reason I could see to put them on that was to try to gain value and gain some money. But if we look at Matic today, Matic's up about 17%. That has a lot to do with the Phoenix protocol being on there. And so what that proves, much like Bitcoin MYK that runs on Bitcoin Cash, that runs on Hive, the Hive blockchain, Waves, etc., it just proves that you don't have to have these projects on these congested chains for them to have great value, make good money, right? Be efficient, be useful, right? Which is going to contribute more to the value of them in itself, right? Because where it is true, these projects value wise will go up with the congestion of these chains. It is also true that people aren't going to buy them because the transactional fees are going to be so high. So you're running into the tragedy of the commons there, right? No, just create these systems that work on these, basically these side chains and such that are equipped and built for the express purpose of that, right? That's what Bitcoin MYK does, and that's why Bitcoin MYK is gonna be so much easier for it to go up in value. In other words, Bitcoin MYK is worth fractions of pennies. It's a great deal more easier for Bitcoin MYK value wise to go up like it's done in the last 30 days, 1,000%, 10,000%, 100,000%, than Bitcoin to go any higher, right? By having these ordinals and a variety of things on there. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but I don't really see where any disagreement lies. We can see the negative fallback to this already with people not being able to get their money out of Binance. Also, it's going to get worse, right? I believe, right? Although they're attempting to say they're going to use Lightning networks, they're going to use these side chains, but these fees are going to still be extremely high. And that's the same thing that's happened with Zen on Ethereum and what's going to happen on other chains. I know a lot of people would say, oh, well, we're going to get richer. And well, no, not necessarily, because you're going to have less buyers of these coins as the fees go higher, right? So again, we know how that works, right? Bitcoin MYK is the solution to all that. Easy accessibility. Anybody can use it. It takes you back to the early days of Ethereum mining and Bitcoin mining, but even better because the people don't have to have the skill set to mine. And when you have mass adoption, that's when you're going to have a very valuable platform. People can onboard these things easy, use it easy, and already mine the coins, right? Like what we do on Bitcoin MYK, right? So I really think this is going to be one of these things you guys are going to be wrong on. I know how it works. We typically don't get into a project until a lot of other people start talking about it, until it's already made its move. But by the time you get that green light, just like Pepe Coin and many of the others, it's oftentimes too late, right? So when Bitcoin MYK does its run up, it's probably going to be too late then. But Zen destroying Bitcoin, is it good or bad? Personally, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing because I think Bitcoin already needed to be destroyed and something better created in place of Bitcoin. Um, with that community and our vision, that is the citizens dividend for all Bitcoin holders, right? This mass distribution of Bitcoin is the best uh, community to do it in. But you have Bitcoin maximalists, you have Bitcoin miners who would rather just make some money and be in this very elitist small group, centralized group, than have it to where it's accessible to all. So you have the same problem with Bitcoin you have with gold, which it wasn't enough gold to go around, so there was less economic prosperity. Whereas with Bitcoin MYK, It's enough of it to go around, so it's more economic prosperity. So it's more network value being built within it, right? And that's what we see happening. That's what's going to happen. I don't really see any other way it can go. Now, again, Zen has very much similarities to Bitcoin and MYK, but it has so many negative things that are happening as a result of its development. And these things aren't going to have a positive effect on Zen, I don't believe, going into the future. Some people believe it's going to make the price go up extremely high. Maybe, maybe not. I think it could suffer a similar issue like what's happening with Hex and what happened with Ethereum fees with Hex, etc. These are just my thoughts and opinions. My uh, my last point would be just to try Bitcoin MYK because it's built in a way to avoid what's happening with many of these chains, Bitcoin and Ethereum, that not enough people are benefiting from. That's the problem. It's not a problem in making money and the value of the cryptocurrency going up. The problem is there isn't enough benefactors into it. It's not a participatory economy as of yet. And although Zen has performed quite well so far, uh, these type of situations I think can create a negative impact on these projects. Right, you're going to have a lot of anti-Zen people now, right? And that's not what we want to happen. Uh, um, but anyway, that's all I really wanted to say in the video. I think you guys will love Bitcoin MYK. I think it's going to be probably more of what you all kind of foresee happening. And although I'm still a supporter of Zen, this doesn't sway me in any way. I do think if Zen stays on the route of pursuing chains like Bitcoin and Ethereum, something that it should not be doing, in my opinion, that it makes no sense at all. It doesn't even fit with the narrative to do. I think that that's going to be negative for Zen. And I think it's going to turn a lot of people against Zen. So I really think that they should start making a move to avoid making these technologies useless, right? Because I don't think it helps at all the cryptocurrency space. These are just my opinions. I could be missing something. Maybe you guys could point it out for me. But I know Bitcoin NYK doesn't do that. I think Bitcoin NYK is going to fly under the radar for a while, and then it's going to emerge to be one of the giants in cryptocurrency. I think it just gets everything right. And it avoids many of these pitfalls I foresee happening. But that's all I want to say in this video. If you like content like this, don't forget to like, subscribe. Till next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.